Hello folks, welcome back to Outdoors with Bud. I'm your host, Bud Fields. I've had a number of people contact me, asking me questions, and I love to get these. And I hope some of the stuff that I'm sharing with you is going to help you. I've had a guy ask me, he says, how do you select a good hunting partner? Well, that's a tough question. It's just like, for instance, if you're getting married. I mean, you want to pick a good life partner because it can make things a lot simpler. Now, I have been hunting since 1964. I've had the honor and privilege of hunting with some really great people over the years. Now, sadly, many of these guys that nurtured me when I first started hunting and all that, many of these people have passed away. And then again, I've hunted with a few guys that I'm a pretty easygoing guy, but it just didn't work out. It all depends on how serious you are. I've had guys that were just like myself, very, very serious about deer hunting. They want to go up and do a lot of scouting. They want to find places to put their tree stands, and they really want to go. And the night before hunting season, I mean, we're all keyed up just like a kid waiting on Santa Claus on Christmas Eve. And even though I've been hunting 61 years, I have trouble sleeping. I'll wake up every 15 or 20 minutes and check the clock to make sure I didn't oversleep. But it's hard to find a good hunting partner. I've had some good ones, and you need somebody that, what I look for in a hunting partner is somebody that has got a good sense of humor, because things are not going to go perfect all the time. You're not going to go out there and see a lot of deer. You're not going to go out there and get a deer every time you go out. And it's easy to get in losing confidence. And I had one guy that, he talked a great hunt. If we said we were leaving at 4 o'clock in the morning, half the time we didn't get leaving until almost, say, 5 o'clock or 5:30. The guy always overslept, and it wasn't long till he was no longer in our group. But you need a guy that is really interested in hunting or fishing, as a matter of fact, or a guy that's willing to do his part. There's been a lot of times when we went out of state, we would take our 23-foot camping trailer, and the only thing I asked of the guys was, for God's sake, help me keep this trailer clean, because I didn't want to bring it back home and the wife say, you guys really total wrecked that camper. And you got to have guys that's willing to work with you on it. I had one guy up there, he always wanted to hang his bow on the cabinet knobs inside of the camper. I asked him politely not to do that. And next thing you know, he had it hanging back up there, and we had to kind of get on him and make sure he understood what we needed done. Every morning when we would get up, we would roll our sleeping bags up and stash them over in the corner. He left his laying there, and we had to move around it. We always had to wait on him. He was the last one to get up. We're sitting in the truck getting the ice and frost off the windshield, and he's still in there putting on his socks. And then we have to wait to get him in there. That doesn't work out too good. Now, I've had guys that I worked with and invited me to hunt with them, and I'm always open to hunting new areas just to learn that area. Well, I had 3 guys that were great to work with. I went down there with them, and the only thing they were interested in was bar hopping. I don't drink, but I'm glad I was with them because I was the only guy that could drive back to the campsite. We got back, they closed the bars up. We had the alarm set for 5 to get up to go hunting. I was the only guy in the group that got up that morning, and they raised heck with me because when I turned the lights on to make the coffee, I woke them up, and then they were grouchy. Well, that didn't work out too good. Also, you got to work with guys that's willing to obey the game laws. I mean, a lot of guys, okay, I'm not going to go by this. I'm going to shoot this. I'm going to shoot that. I'm going to shoot this. That's not going to work. You really got to find somebody that thinks like you do, wants to put forth the effort to hunt. And I like to joke. I mean, I'm a practical joker. I pull jokes on guys, and I have guys joke around with me, and that's fine. That gets you going. But when you got one guy in there that all he does is complain, that can ruin the whole trip for not only him, but for you and everybody that's in the group. So finding a good partner is really difficult. I've had guys tell me, well, Joe Blow over here, he's a good deer hunter. You ought to get with him and find out and maybe do some hunting with him. I've learned some good areas doing that, but I've also found out some people was not quite as friendly or as great doing things as what I wanted to try to be myself. But finding a good partner is difficult. And when you do get one, I mean, there's going to be times that maybe things don't go right. There's been times that I just got up in the tree, just got my bow or my gun pulled up on my haul line, just getting settled in, and the guy calls me on the phone, I got a deer. Well, I will drop everything that I'm doing to help anybody that I'm hunting with retrieve their deer and find it. And there's been times that I went up there and I know more got in the tree and I shot a deer. Well, usually if I shoot a deer, I'm going to wait a half hour to 45 minutes before I start tracking it. And if I know that I've got plenty of time, I will get down and I will track that deer as quietly as I can. But the older I get, it makes it more difficult to get that animal out of the woods and get it back to camp. So then I will contact the guys that I hunt with. Now there's been many times that I shot a deer, it ran off, I stayed right where I was at because we was hunting in a small area and I did not want to be down on the ground and mess up their hunting. So what we done, we had a meeting place at what was a power line at that time where the forest department went through there and cleared out a bunch of trees and ran a power line down through it. We met right there. Well, when I got down, I walked out to the power line. When they come in, I told them, I said, guys, I've got a deer down. Well, that way I didn't mess up their hunting. But the only bad thing about that was we were hunting it in the dark. But we all had flashlights and we all got together and one guy would stand at the last drop of blood and we would stay off the blood trail where we wouldn't knock it over. But that is what you need, to get together with everybody to work for everybody's common sense. And deer hunting can be such fun, and it's a lot more fun when you're doing it with somebody. Now, I do have to hunt by myself quite a bit. I don't enjoy it as much because I've heard all of my jokes. But yeah, I'm retired, so I can hunt basically anytime. Now, I've got 3 grandsons that loves to hunt, and they love to fish. But they're still working. They got full-time jobs, and they've got families of their own. They can't go like they did when they were younger with me. They wasn't married. They didn't have obligations. They didn't have the jobs. We could hunt like after they got off of school or on the weekends. But the older I get, the less I enjoy hunting by myself, but there is an advantage. If you cannot get somebody that you really think you're going to enjoy hunting with. The advantage of hunting by yourself is you know what you're going to do, and you're going to know where you're at. You're going to see the deer, you're going to be less noisy, and you're going to be able to hold the human scent down. The more people you get in that area, the more human scent's going to be in that area, and the deer can detect that, so you can actually be messing up each other's hunting. But it's more fun when you got somebody with you, when you get a deer, you know, for handshaking, man hugs and all that, and it's a lot easier for one guy to get help to get your deer out, because they look small, but if you got to drag them very far, even a 75 to 80 pound doe, that can get downright heavy. I shot 2 deer this year. I was by myself. It took me a while to get them out. I drug the deer till I got tired. I rested. I drug it again. But a good partner, or maybe 2 or 3, but if you're hunting on private land, make sure you got the landowner's permission and find out how many people they will allow to hunt. Because if they only want you hunting and you go up there with 4 or 5 guys, you're not going to be hunting that property very long. So I hope that answers your questions. Be selective. And if you get a chance to hunt with other people, I'm not saying don't do that, but respect their rights and try to get along, because hunting can be so much fun or it can be a hassle. So thanks again, folks, for letting me come into your home and sharing some information with you, and keep those questions coming. Thank you.